Throughout history, humans have used plants for healing and spiritual practices. From the earliest days of civilization, our ancestors turned to the natural world for remedies and rituals, harnessing the power of plants to cure ailments and connect with the spiritual realm. Incense, with its aromatic smoke, has filled temples across cultures. The fragrant plumes have been a bridge between the earthly and the divine, used in ceremonies to purify spaces and elevate prayers. Plants like peyote and ayahuasca have induced visions and connected people with the divine. These powerful plants have been central to shamanic rituals, guiding spiritual journeys and offering profound insights. But what about cannabis? Could this plant, often shrouded in controversy today, have played a role in ancient sacred rituals? Its history is complex and multifaceted, with uses that span medicinal, recreational, and spiritual realms. The answer might surprise you. For centuries, the use of cannabis in religious contexts has been whispered about. Hidden in the margins of ancient manuscripts and hinted at in sacred texts, its presence is more significant than many realize. Ancient texts hint at its significance. These documents, often overlooked, provide clues that suggest cannabis was more than just a plant. It was a sacred tool. Archaeological discoveries offer tantalizing clues. Residues found on artifacts and in burial sites point to its use in various cultural and religious practices. Could it be that our modern perceptions have clouded our understanding of the past? The stigma surrounding cannabis today might obscure its historical significance and sacred uses. Let's journey back in time and explore the intriguing theory that cannabis was part of the anointing oil used by Jesus. This theory, if true, could reshape our understanding of ancient religious practices and the role of this controversial plant. Our exploration takes us to the ancient and sacred pages of the Bible, specifically to the Book of Exodus, a cornerstone of religious texts. Here, within these hallowed lines, we find a divine recipe for holy anointing oil given to Moses by God himself. This sacred oil, used to anoint priests and consecrate sacred objects, contained a mysterious and intriguing ingredient known as kaneh bosem. While many traditional translations interpret this ingredient as an aromatic cane or calamus, a growing number of scholars believe it refers to something far more controversial: cannabis. This interpretation is not without merit and has sparked considerable debate among historians and theologians alike. Linguistic analysis and historical context suggest that kaneh bosem could indeed be a reference to cannabis, a plant known for its aromatic and medicinal properties. The word kaneh bears a striking resemblance to the ancient Assyrian and Babylonian word for cannabis, kunabu, further supporting this theory. Furthermore, the term bosem implies a fragrant, oily plant, characteristics that perfectly describe cannabis, known for its distinctive aroma and oil-rich glands. The recipe for the anointing oil mentioned in Exodus is incredibly specific. It calls for precise measurements of myrrh, cinnamon, cassia, olive oil, and, of course, kaneh bosem. This meticulous recipe suggests that each ingredient held significant importance, both practically and symbolically. If kaneh bosem were indeed cannabis, its inclusion in this holy oil would be profound. Cannabis, known for its psychoactive properties, could have induced altered states of consciousness. This could have allowed priests to connect with the divine, receive revelations, and perform healings. Cannabis in ancient medicine and ritual. The use of cannabis in ancient medicine and religious rituals is well documented. In ancient Egypt, cannabis was used to treat pain and inflammation. The Scythians, a nomadic tribe, utilized cannabis in their religious ceremonies. Across cultures, cannabis was revered for its ability to both heal the body and elevate the spirit. Considering the widespread use of cannabis in ancient times, it's not a stretch to imagine that the Israelites were familiar with its properties. They could have incorporated it into their own religious practices, viewing it as a gift from God. Jesus the Healer, a radical possibility. Now let's consider Jesus. He was known for his miraculous healings, often using methods that seemed unconventional at the time. Could it be that Jesus, in his wisdom and compassion, utilized the power of cannabis in his healing ministry? While the Bible doesn't explicitly mention Jesus using cannabis, it's an intriguing possibility. If the anointing oil he used contained cannabis, it could explain the remarkable effectiveness of his healings. Not to discredit Jesus, but even he mentioned that anyone can do what he did, and even more. Cannabis, with its analgesic and anti-inflammatory properties, could have provided relief from pain and suffering, Jesus offering both healing at the spiritual and physical level. Stigma and suppression, the hidden truth. This section delves into the reasons behind the obscured history of cannabis and its misunderstood legacy. So, why isn't this theory more widely known or accepted? What forces have kept this knowledge in the shadows? The answer, sadly, lies in stigma and suppression. Societal and political forces have long worked to keep this information hidden. Over the centuries, the use of cannabis became demonized. It was often linked to witchcraft and other forms of heresy. It was associated with counterculture and criminality, further tarnishing its reputation in the eyes of the public. Its spiritual and medicinal benefits forgotten, buried under layers of misinformation and fear. This negative perception has made it difficult to have open and honest conversations about the historical use of cannabis, especially in religious contexts. Many voices were silenced, and many stories left untold. However, as our understanding of cannabis evolves, so too should our willingness to re-examine the past. Modern research is shedding new light on its potential benefits. Could it be that this plant, so often misunderstood, held a place of reverence in the ancient world, even playing a role in sacred rituals and ceremonies? Could it have even played a role in the life and ministry of Jesus? This possibility opens up a fascinating area of historical inquiry. It's a question worth pondering, one that challenges our preconceived notions and invites deeper exploration. A historical mystery waiting to be unraveled, offering clues that could reshape our understanding of the past. The truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction. And in this case, it might just be more enlightening as well. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, like, share and subscribe, and see you next time.